Welcome. Join us on a journey through the Indian Renaissance. Discover the movement that changed India.
By the late 18th and early 19th centuries, the British Empire steadily expanded its reach across the entire Indian subcontinent. The British brought centralized administrations and industrialized technology. They encountered social institutions that had remained unchanged for centuries. India faced severe internal crises, particularly regarding the status of women. Child marriage was widespread, caste systems fractured society, and the practice of sati, the burning of widows on their husbands' funeral pyres, remained a persistent reality in several regions. Millions were labeled untouchable, trapped in a hierarchy that enforced social division and denied basic dignity based on birth. The British used these social failures as moral justification for their rule, pointing to internal practices as proof the population was incapable of self-governance. The British conquest forced Indian intellectuals to confront the reality that their own social decay had made the country vulnerable to foreign subjugation. A new class of educated Indians realized that to survive, their society had to change. They faced a difficult dilemma: how to eliminate these social evils without surrendering their entire cultural identity to the colonizers. They had to find a way to modernize their own society while resisting the pressure to simply become Western. Raja Ram Mohan Roy, recognized as the pioneer of this movement, identified a specific mechanic within Indian power structures. He observed that oppressive social practices in 19th century India were protected by an appeal to religious dogma. To dismantle oppressive practices, Roy worked within the religious framework that justified them. Applying rational analysis, he translated the Vedas and Upanishads to argue that original Hindi traditions supported ethical monotheism rather than rigid 19th century caste divisions or rituals. He founded the Brahmo Samaj to promote these ideas, directly challenging the authority of the priesthood and the practice of idolatry. This strategy led to a significant legal victory in 1829, when his campaign helped persuade the colonial government to ban the practice of sati. Roy demonstrated that religious tradition could be used as a vehicle for modernization, proving that progress did not require the abandonment of Indian culture. Roy's methods provided a blueprint for similar movements across the subcontinent. Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar followed this path in Bengal, using his knowledge of ancient scriptures to advocate for widow remarriage, leading to the Act of 1856, and challenged the supremacy of the Brahmin priests. These reformers also pushed for women's education, establishing schools for girls as a step toward broader social participation. Sir Syed Ahmed Khan observed similar challenges within the Muslim community, specifically regarding educational backwardness. His Aligarh movement established institutions to provide modern scientific education to Muslims without compromising their religious identity. Across different faiths, the strategy remained the same: purify the religious narrative to improve the condition of the people. These movements sought changes within the existing social framework, rather than attempting a total structural overhaul. The reach of these ideas was largely confined to the urban, educated middle class. In rural areas, where communications were limited and illiteracy was high, rigid caste distinctions and traditional customs remained mostly unchanged. While rural hierarchies survived, the intellectuals had successfully challenged the religious monopoly that had shielded those hierarchies from criticism. These reforms helped cultivate a growing class of people who were acutely aware of their legal and social rights. As Indians regained confidence in their own cultural institutions, the focus of the movement shifted. The earlier demands for social reform provided the intellectual background for the later demands for political independence. By reforming their culture on their own terms, these thinkers demonstrated that India was capable of self-rule. The social and religious reforms of the 19th century set the stage for the national liberation movement, providing ideological confidence to challenge Britain.